Good morning, everyone. Today we celebrate Buddha's birthday. In East Asian Buddhist countries, we celebrate Buddha's birthday on April 8th. But because of the day of the week, we have to do this on Sunday. But we really don't know when Buddha was born. Even we don't know which year he was born. In the tradition from Theravada and from Chinese tradition, including Japan and Korea, the difference of that year Buddha was born is almost 100 years, because we don't know. And Theravada tradition, even today, they celebrate Buddha's birthday, Enlightenment Day, and Nirvana Day on the same day in May. And they call that celebration Vesak. So it is a very big celebration in their tradition. But in our tradition, we celebrate different days. April 8th for Buddha's birthday, and December 8th for Buddha's enlightenment, and February 15th for Buddha's Nirvana Day. But these dates, 15th is the middle of the month. And in the lunar calendar, that is always a full moon day. And the 8th is a half moon day. So these are not exactly when Buddha was born or attained enlightenment or passed away, but these are the date they had a gathering. The full moon day and the half moon day and new moon day. In Indian Sangha, they have some kind of gathering. And on that occasion, maybe not in India, but in China, they decide they celebrate birthday, enlightenment day, and Nirvana day on these days. So actually, we can change the date. Because we have gathering on Sunday, we have different dates in each year. But I think that's okay. Buddha didn't complain. Well, because on Buddha's birthday, each year we have some new people to explain what this decoration means and what we are going to do and why we are going to do. On April 8th, each year I introduce the beginning of Dogen Zenji's Dharma Hall discourses. Of course, they celebrate Buddha's birthday every year. And this Dharma Hall discourse is the last one in 1252, I think. That was the year before he died, or the year before. Anyway, and he described the story of Buddha's birth. So I think this is helpful to understand what we are going to do today after this talk. This is about the story of how Buddha was born. If we want to read this, this is from Jodo 495 of Buddha, Dogen's extensive record. When Buddha was, when he was going to be born, his mother tried to return to her own family palace. It seems it was a custom. When mother gave birth, she returned to her own home. So she was Queen Maya, was from a nearby kingdom. So she decided to return to her own country to give a birth. But on her way to return home, somehow Buddha was born at a park. So she took a rest, and somehow unexpectedly, probably, he was born. So he was born outside in the park. And the name of the park was Lumbini. And Lumbini Park is still there in Nepal. And many people visited. Even the King Asoka, the famous king of India, visited that place, and he built a big stupa, and he buried part of his relics. Anyway, so the story starts. Maya, Shakyamuni Buddha's mother, Maya, Queen Maya, arrived at Lumbini Park, and the Bodhisattva, the baby was called Bodhisattva, until he became a Buddha. The Bodhisattva was born and entered the world, so he entered this world. Indra is an Indian god Indra, held up the Bodhisattva. So when he was born, the god held the baby. On his swaddling clothes, and human and heavenly beings, for the first time, made prostrations upon seeing the face of the single most venerable one, that was the Buddha. At that very time, jeweled lotuses blossomed to support the Buddha's feet. Somehow, the newborn baby stood up, and the lotus flower bloomed to support his feet. Heavenly beings rained down flowers upon the Bodhisattva. That was why we have many flowers. Those flowers are from heavenly beings. So this world became very beautiful. Then he took 7 steps. So newborn baby not only stood up, but he walked. He walked 7 steps in each of the 4 directions. I think I talked this last year. So he walked to the 4 directions. 4 directions means all directions. The older version of this story, it is said the baby was walked only one direction. That was north. He walked toward north, and that means he walked toward the Big Dipper. That is a star. There are 7 stars there. that was the number 7. He walked 7 steps. And probably at that time, ancient times, walk toward the Big Dipper had some spiritual or cultural meanings. But later that meaning was lost. So the people who made this version changed it. One direction is not enough. So in this version, it said Buddha walked 4 directions. And gazed to the 4 directions. So he gazed, I think he had to turn around to see 4 directions. 4 directions without blinking. The words naturally emerged from his mouth. Within the world, I am the most excellent. This is a baby's saying. Within the world, I am the most excellent. Within the world, I am the most venerable. From today, on my share of births have been exhausted. This is my final body. That means when he became a Buddha, there's no more reincarnation. So he said, this is the final life, final body, and I will become a Buddha. That was this decoration means, somehow the pond was made by heavenly being or someone. And there are 2 dragons made a shower of water. One is cold, one is warm. So it's exactly like the shower we have. So they can adjust the temperature and to wash the baby's body. Anyway, that is why the baby Buddha was sitting in a bowl of water. That is called amacha in Japanese. And we are going to pour the amacha, or the tea, sweet tea. That is what dragon did for the baby. That is what we are going to do. That is, so we become a dragon to pour the water to the newborn baby. Anyway, that is what is said, basically what is said in the story of Buddha's birth. And today I'd like to introduce another Jodo, or Dharma Discourse by Dogen. This is the earliest, given in 1241. Because he was born in the year 200, he was 41 years old, and at that time Buddha was still living in Fukakusa near Kyoto, at a temple named Koshoji. So he is still young, so when he became old, he kind of tried to follow the traditional story. But when he was young, he was much free and creative. So his interpretation of this story and this celebration, this ceremony, is quite creative or unique. So let me read sentence by sentence. the title of this Dharma discourse is Unobstructed Good Fortune. Discourse 42. Bathing Buddha Dharma, bathing Buddha Dharma Hall Discourse for Buddha's birthday, 1241. Dogen says, today, my original teacher Shakyamuni Tathagata descended to be born at Lumbini Park. This is fine. Every year on this day, we always have Lumbini Park. He says, not only one time in India or Nepal, about 2,500 years ago, but he said every year, each year, we have Lumbini Park. That is this, decoration. This shrine is Lumbini Park. So Lumbini Park is actually here and now, and Buddha is born now. So even every year on this day, we always have Lumbini Park. Tell me whether the great sage is born or not. So he asked his monks, is Buddha born or not? And of course he expected, monks said yes. Then how Buddha can be born now, here and now? That was his point, Dogen's point in this discourse. If you say he has descended to be born, I grant you have done one portion of practice. If you say, yes, Buddha is born, then he said, I accept your saying, and I recognize that you do some practice. This means our practice is Buddha. When we sit and letting go of thought, or open the hand of thought, this means become free from our ego-centeredness. That is our practice of Zazen and other kind of practices. When we practice following Buddha's teachings, in one of the Mahayana Sutras, it is said, when monks practice, the Buddha's Dharmakaya is always there and never broken, never destroyed. So when we practice, within our practice, Buddha is born. So this means because we are practicing, this is done at a Zen monastery. So he said, if you say because we practice following Buddha's teachings, Buddha is born, always born within our practice. If monk said so, then Dogen said, I accept your saying. I grant you have done one portion of practice, one portion. And he said, if you say he has not descended to be born, so if monk said the opposite, I grant you have done one portion of practice. So whether monk said yes or no, his answer is the same. That means if monk said Buddha was not born, Buddha is not born, that doesn't mean we don't practice. But this means we practice, but we don't say we practice. We just practice. If we practice, but we think and say, now I'm practicing, then that is what we do is thinking. I am practicing Buddha's teaching, therefore Dharmakaya Buddha is born. that is what the first monk said. Then Dogen said that is fine, but to say no is more kind of close to the reality. We just practice without thinking, I am practicing. Just do it is, Dogen's point. Next he said, if you are already like this, whether the monk said yes or no, if you are already like this, you are not obstructed by mountains or oceans, and will be born to a king's palace, like Shakyamuni Buddha. India or Nepal is very far away from where we or Dogen lived in Japan, Kyoto. But he said, if you are already like this, you are not obstructed by mountains or oceans. That means Lumbini is right here where they stay, and will be born to a king's palace like Shakyamuni Buddha. So this is Buddha's father's palace, and this is Lumbini also, and Buddha is born. So actually he didn't care about that story of Buddha's birth. He's talking about what is happening here and now at his monastery with his monks. So Buddha can be born here and now, right in front of us. If you are not obstructed by mountains or oceans, are you obstructed by birth or not? Not only the space, but also the birth. Buddha was born many hundred years ago in different ways, but he can be born right now, right here. So he was not obstructed by mountains or oceans. Are you obstructed by birth or not? So he is asking, if Buddha is not obstructed by time and space, are you obstructed by time and space? And of course, as an individual person who has this karmic body and mind is obstructed. But when we practice, so within our practice, Buddha's Dharmakaya is there. And Buddha's Dharmakaya is not obstructed within neither time nor space. So that means we can be always together with newborn Buddha. We are living together with Buddha. When we study Buddha's teaching and practice what Buddha practiced, Buddha is always together with us. Even if previous Buddhas and ancestors say that they are obstructed by birth, today this mountain monk, Dogen, simply says that I am not obstructed by birth. That means where we are born, who is our father and mother, and in which country or culture we are born. We are not obstructed by that kind of conditions. We are as a karmic person, but our practice or the Buddha's Dharmakaya that is appear within our practice is never obstructed within time and space. if we are not obstructed by mountains or oceans and are not obstructed by birth, all people in the entire earth, all people in the entire earth and the entire universe are born together with Shakyamuni Buddha and say, above the heavens and below the heavens, I alone am the world honored one. And this is the fixed phrase in China and Japan. The Fat Buddha said when he was born. That is very well-known saying. That is, Tenjo Tenga Yui ga Doku Son. Tenjo Tenga Yui ga Doku Son. Ten is heaven, and Jo is above, and Ga is below or underneath. So underneath heaven and above the heaven. That means this entire universe. Yui means only. Ga is I. And Doku is alone. Son is venerable. So the newborn baby said, in the entire universe, I'm only venerable person. Some Japanese people today know this phrase, but they don't understand what this means. Some people said, this is very self-centered saying. I am only venerable, respectable person. No other are respectable, only me. But what Dogen is saying here is not what the Buddha or the newborn baby didn't say, I am only respectable person. That is what Dogen is saying next. And this saying was made in China, not from India. The famous Chinese Buddhist monk who went to India to study Indian Buddhism and brought tons of Buddhist texts, and he spent the rest of his life to translate them. And the person's name is Genjo in Japanese, or what is Genjo in Chinese? Xuanzang. He lived, I think, in the 7th century. So he was very important Chinese monk, and he actually traveled between China to India, and he stayed in India for 17 years. So he studied Indian language, and he brought the Sanskrit text to China and translated. Anyway, he wrote a journal of his travel from China to India and India to China. And this is what is said when Xuanzang really visited Lumbini. And this is what this phrase is made by that person. So, and the newborn baby didn't really think he was only respectable, venerable person. I think Buddha, the baby didn't think so. But this is the expression of later Buddhist respect to the Buddha. Anyway, above the heavens and below the heavens, I alone am the world-honored one. After taking 7 steps in the 10 directions, Dogen said, in the 10 directions, it's strange. The older version said 4 directions. It's already strange. Newborn baby stood up and walked for 10 directions. That is already not possible for us. But Dogen added 2 more directions. Sky, up, heaven, and earth. I can imagine, even though it's not possible, but a newborn baby walking 4 directions on the ground. But how he could walk down towards down and up, it's not imaginable. He can't walk up and down. But this, I don't think this is Dogen's mistake, but this is intentional. That is interesting point. Dogen's kind of a creative thinking. To understand this, I think we have to study what Dogen said about 10 directions. There is a fascicle of Shobu Genzo entitled 10 Directions. Or Juppo. Ju is 10 and Ho means directions. In this fascicle, Dogen quote this saying, above and below the heavens, I am alone venerable. And what he said before that, he quoted within this fascicle, Juppo, or 10 directions, he quoted one saying by famous Chinese Zen master, that is, Jin Juppo Kai Shamon Zenshin. Jin Juppo Kai Shamon Zenshin. Jin is entire or whole, and Juppo is 10 directions, and Kai is world. So I usually translate it as entire 10 direction world. That means this entire universe. Shamon is a transliteration of Sanskrit word Shramana. That means spiritual practitioners in general. But in this case, Shaman or Shramana refers to Shakyamuni. And Zenshin is also whole or entire, whole body. Shin is body. So this Chinese master said, this entire 10 direction world, this entire universe is Buddha's entire body. So it's not that Buddha was born within the world, but this entire world is Buddha's body. It's not possible to believe if we think of the Buddha as an individual person, born as a prince in Indian or Nepal kingdom many years ago. But he said, the master said, Buddha's entire body is the entire 10 direction world. This entire universe is Buddha's body. And not only that, the Chinese master also said this 10 direction world, Jinju Pokai, is the self, or the radiant light of the self. So not only Buddha, but also each one of us is also entire universe, 10 direction world. That means we, each one of us, not only human beings, but each one of individual things are interconnected or interpenetrated with everything within the entire universe. So not only this newborn Buddha, but also we are the same. Our body as our dharma body is the same as Buddha's dharma body. But unless we understand this, study this teaching, and practice this teaching, and become free from self-clinging, we are deluded human beings and transmigrating within samsara, and we suffer. So there are two sides in one, body and mind. And those two, samsara and nirvana, or delusion and true reality, are interpenetrate each other. These are not two separate things, and we have to make choice this way or that way. But these are really one reality. And depending upon how we are in each moment, our life becomes samsara and transmigrating within 6 realms. And we, in a sense, our practice give birth to the Buddha here and now. So it's matter of moment by moment what we do, what is our attitude toward ourselves and toward other people and other beings and this entire world. So after Dogen introducing this saying, the entire 10 direction world is entire body of the Shramana. One hand points to heaven as heaven, and one hand points the earth as earth. This is what this baby Buddha is doing, pointing heaven and earth. So this is when Buddha stood up and walked and point out heaven and earth and saying, in that 10 direction world, only I am the venerable. And I think another discourse by Dogen said, this saying, only I am the venerable, is just a baby's cry. When baby was born, when we are born, we are always crying. And that crying is the saying of, I am only venerable. All of us is saying when we are born. Because there's no comparing the newborn baby. Don't compare whether he is a good person or bad person or genius or foolish. This newborn baby is just as it is. And what the newborn baby is saying is just crying. And that crying, baby's crying, means I am only vulnerable. And all babies say so. That is Dogen's interpretation of this saying or this entire story. Anyway, although it is thus, the Buddha said, above the heaven and underneath the heaven, I alone is honored one. So this is the meaning of this saying. And he said, this is the entire 10 direction world as the entire body of the Shramana. So when he said the baby Buddha walked 10 direction, does not mean actually the baby stand up and walk around. But what this story meant as a metaphor is Buddha is together with all beings within this entire universe. And not only, as I said, Dogen is saying not only the Buddha, but when we practice and following Buddha's way of life, that is Bodhisattva way or Bodhisattva practice, then we are the same. Anyway, that is what my understanding of Dogen's understanding of what is said in this story. So after taking 7 steps in the 10 directions, this statement was the lion's roar, and a baby is crying. So this is simply babies crying, nothing special. How do you express such a manifestation within just a newborn baby crying? That is what we, all of us, without exception, experienced, but we don't remember. We said so. And we compare with others and compete and try to be a winner. According to Buddha's teaching, that is delusion. Let me continue to talk on this Dharma discourse. After a pause, Dogen said, in the entire universe and pervading the heaven, good fortune arrives. This teaching that not only Shakyamuni, but all of us are interconnected with all entire 10 direction world, with all beings. There's no separation or division. The grandmotherly intimate heart is expressed by the sages' descent to birth. So this is what Buddha said when he was newly born. So his birth is really an expression of his compassion, that we are together with all beings, all life. How can we make offerings? Serve, make prostrations, and bathe to celebrate the sage's descent to birth. So that was what Buddha taught, and that as a gift to us, how venerable and important or precious our life can be. So that's why we try to be Buddha's disciple or Buddha's children. Buddha's children means bodhisattvas. When we take a bodhisattva vow, we vow to live as Fat Buddha taught, as much as possible, because we are deluded as a karmic person. And yet we believe, we understand what Buddha taught. We are together with all beings. How we can live, put these two sides, making these two sides into one. That means how we can practice Buddha's dharma body using this karmic body and mind. So it's difficult because we are not abandon our karmic elements. We have to leave our karmic body and mind, and our practice how we can express Buddha's dharma body. And we have to use this karmic body and mind. That means we cannot escape from samsara, but we have to practice nirvana within samsara. That I think that is the most difficult thing. Our practice is not escape from here or escape to go there, but how can we express nirvana here and now using this deluded body and mind? That's why our practice is endless. So how can we, so when we receive this teaching and try to live and express our gratitude to the Buddha, Dogen said, how can we make offerings, serve, make prostration, make service to the Buddha? That means to all beings. Serve, make prostrations, we have to make prostration to all beings because all are Buddhas. And base to celebrate the sages' descent to birth. So how can we celebrate this Buddha's birth? Then finally, Dogen says, together with the pure great ocean assembly. Pure great ocean assembly means people in the Sangha. Sangha is called great ocean assembly because, to the ocean, all waters from all different rivers come into. And there's no such separation or difference once the water from different rivers entering the ocean. This is one ocean water. And Buddhist Sangha is called like an ocean water. In Buddhist Sangha from India, there's no such separation depending upon which class from the society this person used to be. But when they enter this Sangha, they are, they are really the person or Buddha's children. That is what pure great ocean assembly means. And finally he said, let us enter the Buddha hall and perform the ceremony. And that is what we are going to do right after this. So I'm ready to do the ceremony. So So that is what we are going to do after this Dharma talk. But if you have any comment or question, please give me.
Anyone in the room?
Please.
I got to get to church at 11:30. Do I have time to partake in the ceremony real quick before I gotta go? Or
It will be close.
okay?
I would say if you have to be there at 11:30,
Yeah, 11:30 at the
we
latest.
probably
Sorry,
won't
okay.
finish in time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that I can remain with you in spirit then.
You
Yeah,
can.
if you can, please. But if you cannot today, you can do it next year.
I'll be around. It's
Okay, great.
it's my dad's birthday today.
Okay, that's good.
Your daddy food there? Aren't we all?
Is there anyone online that has a comment or question?
I finished earlier because we'll have the ceremony.
Well then,
So I'm happy if you don't have questions. Anyone? Okay. Okay. Okay, thank you very much for listening.